Welcome into MJT Football. I'm your host, Tony Tucker. I'm joined by the NFL Mike, the Joe Morley. I don't think that these on NFL Mike, but you probably know him if you've been on TikTok or Instagram or any sort of social media. We appreciate you stopping by on this beautiful Friday. Talk a little football with us. Training camp is here. I want to say at the beginning of this episode to everybody who is watching this, who's just looking for something different, just looking for some people to hang out with and talk about football. This is overreaction time of the year. These people are not wearing pads. They're making crazy throws. Ridiculous things are going to be said. I don't check the comments, but I did hear that we were catching a little flack for some Kansas City Chiefs hatred that we were putting out there. That shit ain't going to stop. I'm sorry. But you're on top of the mountain, and you're going to catch a little bit of heat. But we appreciate you hanging out with us. We're three friends who love talking football. We're always looking for a fourth, so consider hitting the subscribe button. Today we're talking some camp holdouts. Belichick offered a job out there. We're going to get into that a little bit. And then, like I said, we're putting up training camp clips. We're going to overreact to them. We're going to have some fun. We're picking Super Bowl winners from day one training camp. So let's have some fun. Mike, how we doing?
Doing great. I've already picked my Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, I saw a video you put together, Mike, that actually was like really fun concept of like we're gonna.
I'm so surprised. You know, this was actually good.
Wait, Mike, one of your videos was good.
Here's the thing, I'm not Mike's target audience, right? So all of Mike's videos are good, but a lot of times like they're not compelling to older people. So this one was like more interesting than others because of the process of elimination. You did like a thing where it was like no team has ever won with this and no team's ever won with this, and you narrowed it down to like these are the four we're working with here, these are the three we're working with in the NFC. And I was like, oh, this is a fun, interesting concept. It wasn't like it had anything to do with wrestling, and it wasn't just a clickbait video. It was like interesting facts about teams that had never won the Super Bowl.
If the facts don't fit the theory, change the theory, and that's what Mike did.
Yes,
I'll be here all week.
Bullshit.
I'll be here all week.
I'll be here all week. Bullshit.
Just go and look me up at NFL Mike or the NFL Mike, whichever one you want to research or Google. It will come up, and you will find the video
that no coach that ever wore diapers won a Super Bowl. That eliminates the Chargers.
Yeah. Also, I just left out the one where it was like the Chargers never won the Super Bowl, so that eliminates the Chargers. I didn't throw that one in there.
Wait, no team but that would not be a real fact. Yes, that wouldn't be a real fact. Then entering a season, no team that's never won the Super Bowl has never won the Super Bowl. That'd be impossible. That's not a real statistic. So that doesn't even matter. The Chargers would still be in.
I'm going for an LA versus LA or New York versus LA Super Bowl. That's what I want to see.
Every year,
I didn't know.
Doesn't matter how they get there.
I didn't know that we were catching flack for talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. So I want to take this time to really sincerely say, fuck the Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs.
Well, it's pretty crazy.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like Mike and make a video about how the Chiefs have new weapons and no. The Chiefs aren't going to be good.
The downfall of the Chiefs for the editors on this show so hard, Joe. I know them very well, and they're complaining a lot, Joe. But anyways, it's funny that we were talking about the Chiefs being distracted last week, and then these training camp clips are coming out, and their offense looks stupid. It just looks stupid. I've never wished injury on anyone, but some rolled ankles wouldn't be bad news right now. I'm just saying. For all of them. Hollywood, Worthy. I didn't get any of those clips because I can't watch it anymore. But it's like every 10 minutes. Every 10 minutes, Xavier Worthy's going deep on the Chiefs safeties.
I did.
Marquise Brown's catching it over two guys. Travis Kelce's one-handing behind the back. Mahomes is throwing it through his legs with his left hand. Like, this shit's getting crazy.
Well, the funny
thing means that the Chiefs' defense sucks.
That could be a strong possibility this year, although unlikely. I will say this: the funny part about it is they always like the adage is the defense is always ahead of the offense on the first couple days, and it's like, oh, not when Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is the combination at the top. Like that's not the case. So it's like The rest of the NFL, sure, that might be a thing, but not with Andy Reid being the head ball coach there. That's enough Chiefs talk. Let's go ahead and pack that away for, I don't know, sometime in February. Let's not talk about the Chiefs anymore.
We've had camp fights already, though, Tony.
Oh, they did. I didn't pull that video.
I'm about to go.
And the Texans had a fight.
I have prepared a tour for you guys.
Stingley knocked. Was it Diggs? Like he knocked Diggs out or something?
I didn't see the Texans getting rowdy. I did see Kadarius Toney getting knocked down by George Karlaftis, which made me laugh for Travis Kelce to come over and push him. Because in all honesty, I do think that Travis Kelce is probably tougher than people give him credit for. Like, I think he's kind of scrappy and stuff. He doesn't want any part of George Karlaftis. Like, that's not any fun. Like, that's just not a good thing for him.
And the ball throw by Kadarius Toney, that's just such a football fight right there. That gets started by a late hit. Guy throws the ball when he gets up.
Well, so like if that shit happens on the playground when you're a kid and the little guy throws the football, we see the little guy run when the big guy starts chasing him. And that's what I was hoping was going to happen. Like I was hoping Kadarius Toney was like, shit, I ain't standing my ground. And he just, 4-2-40 all the way to the end zone and Karlaftis is chasing him. That to me would have been funny to see that interaction. Joe, what were you going to say?
I don't remember. I don't know. What was I going to say?
I don't know. Something about Kadarius Toney or George Karlaftis or the Chiefs.
I was trying to think of like an offside joke to say about Kadarius Toney, but it wasn't like registering. So I just let that one go.
That's well, you could say he it was a pre-snap something when he threw the ball off Karlaftis. I don't know.
So Joe fumbled his joke into your fumbled joke, Tony. Let's go on. Let's talk about the 49ers.
What people are here for, Tony. To watch us fumble jokes.
Good.
Let's not talk about the Chiefs. I prepared a training camp tour, by the way. So I have like all the clips saved on my Twitter page. I reposted them in order to go through them quickly. So once we talk about these topics, we can get into them.
Awesome. The first thing I want to talk about, because I thought this was really interesting, and I thought a lot more people knew about this, was the Kyle Shanahan reached out to the greatest coach in NFL history. I don't care. I don't argue this with anybody. It's not a Tom Brady or Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick to me is the greatest coach of all time. And he offered him the defensive coordinator position with the 49ers. Now I'm just going to get my take out and then you guys can go. I think it is extremely smart. It is also a head coach in Kyle Shanahan who's like, hey guys, I am very confident and comfortable with who I am. And I desperately just want to win a Super Bowl. If the difference between me conquering the mountaintop to get past Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is bringing in the one coach who did give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid trouble for so long, then I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit. I won't care about any asterisks that people want to put next to my name. Because he's also doing this in a way that's unselfish. He's basically just saying, I want Trent Williams and George Kittle and Bosa and CMC. I want these guys to be Super Bowl champions. And if it takes me bringing this in, I'm going to step back. But the internet had very different opinions from the few comments that I saw where it was like, people were just saying like how desperate and pathetic of a move that it was. What were Joe, we'll go with you. What were your thoughts when you read this message?
I'm glad it didn't happen, but I think it is something that we brought up when Belichick was a free agent coach or when he was out there first on the market, that we were like, could this be a possibility because San Francisco is looking for a defensive coordinator? And could you imagine that? Like how good of a game plan he would make for that? Like I think the Patriots had like 3 games in a row that opponents only scored less than 10 points last year. And then you give them all these weapons on the 49ers. It would be great. We've already talked about, and Mike made a song or somebody made a song about San Fran choking and how Kyle Shanahan is an overrated coach. And I think it would just build into, but look, at one point, I don't understand how that would be considered an asterisk on Kyle Shanahan's record. If you're a great coach, you bring in the best coaches to coach along with you, right? So if one is available, I don't understand how you do that because every coach does that. Every coach goes out there and picks people. The Eagles did it a couple years ago. It didn't work out for him. Remember when they brought in Vic Fangio for 2 weeks just to help their defense? People reach out to other coaches during the Super Bowl. So why not improve your team? If you're bringing in the best of the best players, you can bring in the best of the best coaches, and it shouldn't go against your record. It should make you a better coach.
Okay, I'm going to change this into Mike real quick. I do believe that somebody is going to do that with Bill Belichick. If the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl this year, somebody's going to call Bill Belichick and say, "Hey, do you want a consultant fee to like just come back in and help us put together a game plan to beat him?" Go ahead, Mike.
100%. Didn't the Eagles have a consultant for their Super Bowl run a few years ago? Was it Vic Fangio or somebody? I don't remember.
That's what Joe was just saying. Yep.
Oh, sorry. You don't listen.
Well, okay. I ran to the fridge. I put you up as a little distraction and it didn't work. We're all fumbling here today. But from Bill Belichick's perspective of this is kind of what's most interesting to me. I wonder what he was thinking. Obviously, he turned the job down for the TV deal. Probably going to make more money doing that than being a defensive coordinator for the 49ers. But doesn't Bill want the chance to go and win another Super Bowl? Is he going to get his hands on a defense that talented ever again? I mean, what are the chances? Probably not very high. So I'm kind of surprised that he turned it down. But then again, at the same time, maybe Bill Belichick's thinking, like, if I go to the 49ers and I do all this, maybe that gives me the asterisk instead. And I'm trying to be a head coach. I'm trying to continue on with my legacy. I'm not wrapping it up by any means, just taking a season off. He doesn't want to get demoted, basically, to the defense coordinator.
So here's why I think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time. If you gave him the last 4-year run that Kyle Shanahan has had talent-wise on this team, the 49ers have at least one Super Bowl, probably more. Because if you're giving him the chess pieces of having Ufunga being drafted in there, if you're giving him a linebacker as good and as smart as Fred Warner, those edge rushers, the cornerback play that he's had there, if you're giving Bill Belichick all that stuff, the 49ers defense is number one every year. And then we've already seen when he brings in guys like if he brought in Josh McDaniels there, what he'd be able to do with a quarterback who's just going to paint within the lines. Like, we already know young Tom Brady, what he was able to do. Keep the game close, keep it within a field goal range, and then we will manufacture a drive and just get down the field and get there. Like, people used to think that the Patriots offense and everything, and me too, to a certain extent, was really boring. But that's when they won the most. It wasn't when they had Moss and Welker and that offense was a lot more exciting. It was when it was just like, hey, we're going to get 7 first downs and we're going to get a touchdown or a field goal on this drive. And we are just going to wear this defense down, and our defense is going to whip the shit out of their, excuse me.
And Belichick's, the way he could change his defense each and every week to a certain game plan is ridiculous. And move players around. And he wasn't afraid to hey, you're not playing this week. I need this guy because he's the better matchup. I think that's what makes him a great defensive coach. But would he have gelled in San Francisco? Because last year with Steve Wilkes, the player Bosa was talking about how the coaching was and all that stuff. Well, we normally run a 4-man line and do all this. So I don't know. Sometimes the players wouldn't have matched up, and even if you have a great coach in there.
But I think that it's who the message is coming from, right? Yeah. Where it's they're looking at Steve Wilkes and going hey, we're getting gashed, because it wasn't. I don't think Nick Bosa complains if the defense was playing well. The problem is that Bosa was so we're playing bad and I can't do the things that I like to do because of the style that we're running. He's hey, we have all of these defensive tackles so that I can get in that wide 9 stance, so that I can hey, I saw something at the line of scrimmage and now I'm lining up wide. Now I'm hopping back over to maybe a 7 or bumping back in where it's I see something that I could take advantage of. When he's solely committed to just guarding that has so much ground to cover and so many responsibilities in the run game, the pass game, the screen game, the option game, it makes it more difficult for him. And I do think that sometimes it's the message. And when the message is coming from Bill Belichick, it's different. But Belichick, like you said, Mike, and the rings thing, he does consider himself whatever it is. His boat's name is like 9 rings or something like that, because he counts the Super Bowl rings he won as a coordinator. I think he won 2 with the Giants, so it's or 8 rings, whatever his boat's name is. It's every time he was a coordinator or a head coach. He counts every time he won a Super Bowl, and I do like that because I think guys like Spagnuolo, these coordinators in these spots where they're getting multiple Super Bowls, they should be taking a lot of pride. They should be getting a lot of props for the Super Bowls that they're winning and the contributions they're making to the team.
Especially when it's multiple. I mean, it's not no lightning in a bottle. You didn't have a great year where you had a great defense, the great group of guys, perfect chemistry came together and you went and won. The Patriots won a bunch with a bunch of different players. So yeah, I mean, it proves, and that's the respect that you're talking about, Tony, that these players would have for a guy like Bill Belichick coming in. There's like a lore to it. There's a legacy coming in behind him that doesn't come in with Steve Wilkes. Like, as a football coach, Steve Wilkes probably has a decorated football career, but this is just next level. This is legendary stuff. It's like with the Raiders all talking about being cool if a 50-year-old Brady suits up because they don't care. That's Tom Brady in the pocket. That's Bill Belichick as our defensive coordinator. And to talk about the Super Bowls, Tony, how many would have they won if they had a guy like Bill Belichick in there over the last couple of years, just in recent near misses? They're only a couple plays away from having 2 in the past, 4 years. So that's just a few plays difference. We don't know what the butterfly effect is and how it all works out. Of course, the highlights are the Brock Purdy miss to Ayuk down the field, the Jimmy G miss to Emmanuel Sanders down the field, but maybe it's a defensive play that is made that wins those 2 Super Bowls.
They're 21 points, Mike. They gave up 21 points in the final 6 minutes of that Super Bowl. I don't believe a Belichick team does that. Like, I don't know. I can't think of a time when a Belichick team gave up 21 points in the fourth quarter when the team was actually good. Now, even whatever you want to say about the Patriots last year, he had that defense performing after they lost Judon, after they lost Christian Gonzalez. I think they also lost maybe Kyle Duggar, one of the safeties was out. Like, they were missing a lot of pieces, and that defense was still performing. Yeah. So, like, you can say that Belichick's been bad, this, that, whatever. The defense is always locked in.
Yeah, choking leads. Yeah. Speaking of choking leads, maybe Shanahan, if he wants to be an unselfish team player, should take a step back and be offensive coordinator and let Belichick be the head coach. Fuck it.
No, I don't think that. I still think Kyle Shanahan is a top 3 or 4 coach in the NFL. It
worked out. It worked out for the Niners. They got Nick Sorensen and Brandon Staley. You know what I mean? So it worked out perfect for them.
Defensive scheme, it's going through the roof.
Like, you talk about respect in the building. Brandon Staley walking in there, respect.
Hey, I'm not going to let you take shots at my guy, okay? Once a Charger, always a Charger. Let's stick around with the 49ers. Let's talk about how camp is starting off for them, right? Because we have a situation where it was like everybody knew what was going on with Brandon Ayuk. And then Sunday night, we all got the message where it was like Trent Williams, or was it Sunday or Monday night? Trent Williams is not going to be at camp because he wants a new deal. And it's like, I feel like this is what they do when they're like, hey, we're putting together a new Avengers movie. And Chris Hemsworth is like, no, I'm not. Wait, I'm making less money than Robert Downey Jr. Like, I'm making less money than Chris Evans. Like, this is what happens. They're like, oh, shit, we are putting together a movie with like 6 movie stars here, and we can't make an Avengers movie. 49ers can't make the season happen without Trent Williams, without Deebo Samuel, without Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle, and the list just goes on and on and on. And I didn't even get to the defensive side of the football. So it's like, yes, does Trent Williams deserve a pay raise? And he's getting towards the end. He's getting a little bit older, and he's like, yeah, I do deserve it. I want mine too. If this guy's going to hold out, hold in, whatever the holds are, like, let's go to Joe on this one first. Trent Williams, like, which one do you think they need to get figured out first? Is it find a way to patch things up with Ayuk or Trent Williams?
Well, there's a big difference when Trent Williams is out of the game and in the game for the 49ers. So you got to get him done. And I don't know what the 49ers are doing. Like, they have cap space right now. Like, they have $31 million of cap space right now. And you're being stingy with it because you have a quarterback that you're going to have to pay next year. But not this year. Not this year. Like, Why aren't you putting these guys on the field? Like, if Trent, what does he want? He's making $20 million right now. Trent Williams is making $20 million. What does he want? Another couple million? Okay, cool. Here you go. And then you go, Brandon Ayuk, you need another $10 million. And don't worry about next year. Just get it to him this year, win the championship, and it'll work itself out. Like, I don't understand what they're being stingy about in San Francisco. Like, I know some of this will carry over. If you have extra money, you can carry some over next year. But we were just talking about it. You try to bring Bill Belichick. You're trying to win a championship now, but you don't want to do it with the players. Like, you want to be stingy with the players. Like, you would have gave Bill Belichick whatever the hell he wanted, right, to come in there and coach it. But now you're like, I do like that Brandon Ayuk is doing a hold in, like he's actually at practice, where Trent Williams is not. So that should help him out. But come on, like, where these players are. Like, you've had meetings. Like, we've talked about Brandon Ayuk multiple times this season. Just pay him or get rid of him. That's the thing. Like, I'm tired of holdouts. I'm tired of hold-ins. I'm tired of all this stuff. Like, I don't think we've ever seen so many players not practice like we've had in the last couple of years because of money issues. And teams just need to realize, like, you either pay them or you don't. Let them go if you're not going to use them the way you want. Let them go make their money.
Mike?
Trent Williams is obviously the more important player here, because if Brandon Ayuk is not on the team this season, they have Ricky Pearsall, who's injured right now, but is assumingly going to come back. They have Jennings. They have Deebo Samuel to still be their wide receiver one. Like, the season isn't sunk. They can lean on Christian McCaffrey even more this year than they did last year. The season is not sunk. And Christian McCaffrey just demanded a raise too, didn't he?
He got it.
He got it.
Jeez. But anyways, the season's not sunk. But you lose Trent Williams, that is a big problem. Because the way edge rushers are starting to develop, they're starting to take over the league. It's becoming the most dominant position in football. And if you lose Trent Williams with a guy who's not as mobile as some of the most mobile quarterbacks in the league in Brock Purdy, it could be problems. Also, the 49ers like to have the ability to, one, pull their left tackle across the line as an extra guy on the right side for power and all kinds of stuff with Christian McCaffrey, and then just run it straight off of Trent Williams a ton. You take all of that out of their offense as well, unless the backup left tackle for some reason is also an all-pro left tackle. They got to get the deal done with Trent Williams. They're always preaching about lasting competitiveness. I've seen Shanahan talk about it. I've seen the GM Lynch talk about it in the recent past, that they want to continue to have a competitive team for the Super Bowl every single year in, year out. They never want to be in rebuild mode, as they say. It's hard to do when you don't have a franchise elite quarterback to stay competitive all the time like that and have all these superstars on the roster and be able to afford it all. It's kind of like you got to pick, either have that elite quarterback and pay him that $60 million deal, or have this superstar lineup around the quarterback, and then you have to rotate that quarterback when it comes contract time.
So I think that and this will be the last thing, and we'll move on because we're trying to have a nice, tight, quick show today. I think I worded it poorly. It's not who is more important, but like, which one do you think needs to get done first so they can move on to the next one? And so because Trent Williams has already been that guy. I think he sat out a full season in Washington. Like, he sat out a year and then came back and was still the best left tackle in football. What I kind of meant more was like, which situation do you make to be happy first? And I think that's the situation, is like figuring out what it's going to take to get Brandon Ayuk on the team this year. Like, hey, can we give you a no trade clause and give you an extra guaranteed $10 million so you're actually playing for like $25 million this year, and then that way you'll be able to just go out into the market. We'll get a compensatory pick for you in 2026 or whatever it is. Obviously, Trent Williams is the better player. Like, Trent Williams might be a top 5-7 player in the NFL, like, not including quarterbacks. Like, if we're just looking around and you were like, don't take quarterbacks out of the equation, Trent Williams might be top 7. Brandon Ayuk isn't in that echelon of player, although I do think he's, a really great receiver. Speaking of great receivers, and maybe the only, offensive player left, although I do like the tight end Ferguson for the Cowboys, and CeeDee Lamb, like, not even being in Oxnard for the start of camp. Like, he's not even around, like, he's not even in the state of California, apparently. The Cowboys having a situation where CeeDee Lamb isn't there. The Dak situation is kind of up in the air. Micah Parsons is there. He doesn't seem to be, like the immediate need or whatever. But Mike, CeeDee Lamb, when you look at the offense for the Cowboys, like they have to have him. Like this is almost more, not almost, it's more significant to the team than Jefferson was to the Vikings. Because at least the Vikings had Hawkinson and Addison. Like, it's CeeDee Lamb and then Jalen Tolbert? Is the second best player on that offense? Brandon Cooks, I don't want to slight Brandon Cooks. I still think he's a good player, but he's in his 30s. Like, go ahead. CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys. What are you doing here?
These two teams are kind of in the same spot, but opposite positions. Like, because they got to pay their quarterback $60 million also, but they got to pay him right now, and that's going to cause them to also have problems with it as before. But they shouldn't pay the $60 million quarterback. They should be paying the edge rusher and the wide receiver. But out in San Francisco, they feel like they have to pay the quarterback, and that's what the situation they're in. I don't know how the Cowboys are going to get out of this. They still don't have any cap space. I'm expecting to see moves or adjustments or something, but nothing's happening. There's no talk on the CeeDee Lamb contract. I think Micah Parsons is at practice, right?
Yeah, I saw that he's expected to be there.
His extension should be 1 year later, but they're going to be in the same spot with Micah Parsons next year. So this is just going to keep happening. They're probably going to have to let Dak go after this offseason, and the Cowboys are going to be all in this year, and that's going to have to include a CeeDee Lamb extension because, like you're saying, Tony, they got nowhere else to go. There is no like dominant rushing attack to lean on and then just hope the defense can shut teams down. There is no other wide receivers that can carry a wide receiver one workload at 1,600 yards, 130 freaking catches. It's just not there on that team. They're already starting to fall apart, Joe. Congrats. You're going to have a good season with the way training camp's looking for the Niners and Cowboys.
Well, we've talked about the Cowboys, and if CeeDee Lamb is not on the field, I don't know what his war is, like, wins against replacement or whatever it is, but I'm going to say, like, it's 6 or 7 games. Like, come on. Like, Tony just said it. Look at their offense. Tolbert, Mike's guy, Turbin, like, you're not going to have them out there. And then you're relying on who? Ezekiel Elliott to come back? Like, that's who's going to be your offense? No, and Dak, as good as Dak is, he's not going to be able to go after these weapons because there is absolutely no threat. No threat. Like defenses will be like, all right, we stopped. Well, we could blitz Dak more because we could put the one-on-one matchups with these other guys. We're not scared of any of these guys on offense, and you're gonna stack the box and you're gonna win these games easily. And the Dallas Cowboys are gonna crumble, and it's gonna be a great. Look, the Cowboys already have it in their head that they're moving on from Dak. Or Dak's moving on from them. That relationship's over. They're playing this one year out, and then they're going from there. So why aren't you taking care of the players that are going to be here for the fucking future? Like, I don't get it. CeeDee Lamb is your future, and you're not taking care of it.
It's tough.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. You just can't keep it. You can't keep a super stacked. This isn't the NBA. The cap is completely different, and this is going to happen to these teams. You're going to go through these cycles. You're going to go through these ups and downs. The 49ers and Cowboys have had downs.
Yeah. And now you're in a situation where CD's patience is most likely going to be rewarded at a higher clip, right? Because now if Justin Jefferson's getting that amount of money, he's going to say like, well, I want 35.1 or whatever it is to make him the highest paid receiver because he's the next man up. And he can say, my numbers have been comparable to Justin Jefferson. Maybe not on that same record-breaking 3-year start, whatever it is. Like, but they're on that same plane of numbers. And then you have got other guys like, you're not hearing anything from Jamar Chase saying, I want a contract. Because Jamar Chase knows if he waits till next offseason, it's like, what's he going to get? $30 million a year? And then Micah Parsons at that same point is like, well, hey, I want to be the highest non-paid quarterback. I want $38 million. Like, things don't get better for the Cowboys the longer they wait. They're only getting worse. They already did this with the Dak Prescott situation. And this is why whenever I talk to Cowboys fans, they're always so frustrated about how their teams run. Because I keep saying, like, Cowboys are one of the best drafting teams in the league. They always figure it out on an offensive line. They always get skill guys. They've stumbled into back-to-back quarterbacks here. Whatever you think of Romo and Prescott, they've been top 10 to top 5 guys at the position at any fluctuating throughout their careers. Like, you're getting really good starting quarterback play. It's like they're doing something right, but just not right enough to give the Cowboys fans what they want, which is the Super Bowl. With our final, let's say 15 minutes here, Mike, you want to start this training camp tour? We're just going to kind of run through this and get through a little rapid fire thoughts on all this.
Got to change to the right format here. Boom. And we're in. All right. We're starting with our boy Harbaugh here. And he's just telling us how it feels to start training camp again.
It's comfortable and safe. And,
rewind.
Just the way it feels. I mean, it was like New Year's Day. You know, it feels like being born. It was like coming out of the womb. You know, it's like you're in there and it's comfortable and safe. And
it is.
And now you're out. You're
Wait,
going,
what the fuck?
You know, it's bright. Chaos. People looking at you. People talking at you, and just feels good to have it happen. This
is what excited you guys right here.
Who does analogies better than us, Joe? Nobody!
Come on,
Training
Joe.
camp feels like coming out of his mom's vagina, is what he said.
Well, I mean, if you want to be crass and derogatory about
Joe.
it, but it is about a new season. It is about the opportunity, the birth. One of the things that I love that he said in that little thing, it had nothing to do with being birthed, is he said people talking at you. Like, if you listen to the way that is, because when you are famous, when you're an athlete, when you're an actor, when you're something, like, people don't talk to you, they talk at you. You're walking onto the field and they're just shouting stuff at you like, you know, marry me, you're the best, you're my favorite player, I drafted you in fantasy. Like, they're not talking to you, they're just shouting shit at you. And that's a lot for people to deal with. And he's just saying, like, hey, embrace that. You're in the time where, like, people are going to be talking at you, and just sort of deal with it. Just let it bounce off you, take in what you want from that, move on. Harbaugh's the man. I'm so excited. You're damn right I was excited about that, Joe.
It's hard to believe that that's actually him. Like, I feel like he's playing a character sometimes. Like, I feel like this guy's a media mastermind, and he just knows exactly what to say in these press conferences. Because even later in the press conference, I know, Joe, you didn't listen to it. They're talking about Quentin Johnston. They're talking about Quentin Johnston, and Harbaugh was like talking about how, like, oh yeah, he got a bad rap from you guys. Oh, did I say that? I didn't mean that. I didn't mean you guys, like the media. Like, he clearly is saying, like, stop talking shit about Quentin Johnston, but in the nicest, most coach speak way possible.
He's saying give him a shot under our administration. Yeah. That's what he's saying. And yes, he did it.
He's not going to drop the ball when the game matters under me, is what I'm saying.
There you go, Joe.
Let's do the weather report here from Carolina.
With the weather reports, a little bit of cloud out here, a little bit of raining all morning, but we're really excited to practice in the weather. The weather ain't too hot.
So a little bit of drizzle in Carolina, in case anyone was wondering. This dude's accent is elite.
Okay, but I've seen clips of him this offseason or in training camp, and I'm telling you what, I'm drafting him in fantasy football. I liked him in the draft. We talked about him a lot at the end of the draft. And when Carolina said, hey, if you're there, we're going to get you. And they actually went up and got him one more pick than they told him. I love the accent. I love everything about him. And like I said, I saw some clips of him making some great catches already. So I'm with it. Legette's my guy.
I'm gonna agree with Joe here that I'm a big fan of this young man, and I really hope that he does perform, because he has that sort of memeable ability where it's like, because of his speech, that if he doesn't perform, the internet's going to be really, really harsh to him. So I'm hoping for, and I'm saying that from like an honest thing, like where the internet will attack this guy for the way that he talks, and they'll match it up with his play, and they'll just be super shitty to him. And like, that's just not, we don't need any more of that. So I'm I'm really rooting for this kid to succeed.
I'll take Leggett over Deshaun Foster any day.
Deshaun Foster. What?
Oh, you didn't see his speech yesterday?
Oh yeah. You sent it to me. The Deshaun Foster, that was brutal. I don't know what
UCLA one.
Yeah, I do not know.
I don't know what you know about UCLA football, but we play in Los Angeles.
Play in Los Angeles, yeah.
We're along with the USC. It's like,
and he kept looking off camera. It was like, and I was like, "What are you looking? Or is somebody?"
I know what he was trying to do. I think I know what he was trying. He's trying to like give off this like appearance that just like USC, like, oh, we're just gonna fuck up USC, but the delivery just made him look stupid.
So like,
he can't think straight because of how bad he wants to beat USC, but he just looks like he can't think straight now.
Oh wow, I didn't see this, but I'm excited. Hit play on this.
Oh yeah, this is the perfect duo coming together right
I can't
here.
hear these. I don't know if you guys can hear these, but I can't hear these.
I can kind of hear it a little bit. We'll hear it. We'll see how it plays. We'll see how it turns out in the video.
3, 2, 1. Yo, maniacs, Hulk Hogan here, the greatest of all time, and my new tag team partner, Campbell Mania, brother, is going to run wild this year. Super Bowl, nothing but greatness, nothing but victory. So what you going to do when the Detroit Lions in Campbell Mania runs wild on you, brother? What you going to do?
Hell yes.
Is there a more perfect duo than this? I mean, like, you got Goff to Amon-Ra St. Brown in Detroit. You got Monty and Gibbs in Detroit, but this probably tops the list right here. Hogan and MCDC. I know you didn't want to talk about wrestling on the show, Tony, but here we are.
Well, we can talk about Hulk Hogan. We can talk about my generation's wrestling. We can't talk about any of this newfangled nonsense.
How old are you? What the?
This is I'm actually before Hulk Hogan a little bit too. I would say the thing here that I noticed that jumped out to me, other than Hulk Hogan still at like age 65 or whatever doing his thing, how massive Dan Campbell is. Like, because Hulk Hogan is still a big dude, and Dan Campbell's bigger, taller. Like that to me was just like crazy. How big Dan Campbell is. Like coaches, all the coaches, you had to line them up. Like, which one are you taking that you'd want to have your back? You know, in an alley fight. I think I'm going Dan Campbell. Especially saw him in practice doing up downs, still doing up downs with the team.
NFL tight end.
I don't mind people making their money. I don't like that people whore themselves out. Like Hulk Hogan's just whoring himself out this offseason, going to team. It's kind of like when Ric Flair did it I want like legit people that are fans of the team that are just doing their thing. Like, I don't like that. I don't like people that are everywhere. Like Hulk Hogan's everywhere now.
I hear what you're saying, Joe. There is a little bit of that, like, hey, I need to get back into the public eye. I'm going to be launching something, or, you know, like if he can catch enough heat, maybe he can be reintroduced to the updated WWE world where he can come back to collect some checks type of a situation. But for me, Hulk Hogan he's on that Ric Flair tier where it's like they will be the things they said 40 years ago are still popular. Like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're talking wrestling right now.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. We can talk wrestling from my generation.
Multiple wrestlers and everything after all of this anti-wrestling talk.
Well, wait till I talk about.
Like, I never watched wrestling before, Joe, but here's my top 20 wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
Well, wait till I tell you. Wait till I tell you that Joe Burrow's haircut makes it look like Dusty Rhodes' child support money. Like that, we're gonna get into some other wrestling references at some point.
I did want to make a video about Joe Burrow's haircut and just play the Cody Rhodes soundtrack and be like, I gotta finish the story and all that stuff. Like that would have been a good video.
Well, you could just play the "I'm a Real American." Wasn't that his song back in the day?
That's Hulk Hogan's theme song. Dusty Rhodes was a
composer. Oh yeah, it was. I don't know why I can't.
American Dream.
Yes, wow. You're right. I fucked it up. Move on.
Stop disrespecting him. Talking about his children and stuff.
We got 5 minutes. We got 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we're to the highlights now, so we don't need the audio, anyways. But Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, I guess, getting beat up by the Texans defense. The main thing I wanted to bring this clip up for is it's actually good to see the Texans secondary playing this aggressively, taking it to that next notch, taking that 49ers mentality that's made that defense so opportunistic. They haven't been the most shut down secondary in the league, but they cash in on their opportunities to get turnovers, and they make plays on big third downs when they need to make their plays. And I think that's what D'Amico Ryans is bringing to this Texans team. They are going to be so good. They're going to be good.
All right.
Here's the thing, Mike. It's year 2. It's year 2 of their defense with D'Amico Ryans, and consistency with coaches is a great thing for players. And I don't think we're in the age of where coaches are in and out and people want people fired. But the more you go and the more you get these players not thinking on the field and just being fast like this defense is going to be, like most of these players know where they're supposed to be now, and they're going to get there and dominate. And that's the good thing about it.
And right there off the back of complimenting the defense, look at this move by Nico. Holy shit.
I think you know that he's a Wolverine. He's got it under control. We didn't even talk about the when we were talking about Ayuk Fillins. We didn't even mention my boy Ronnie Bell, another Michigan guy. I will say that the thing that I like about this is the team is locked in, right? Because you're showing up for camp and you're like, hey, we're ready, we're here, we want to compete, and that's maybe you know like. Harbaugh was talking about, like, hey, lower the tempo down a little bit, guys. Like, we're still early. And I think D'Amico's kind of got to get that under control, too, because this is kind of how you get injuries. You get a little bit of fighting and stuff, and you got to find ways to build it up. So I like it. I think they're going to be really good this year.
Only one day. We've already lost a couple ACLs across the league. A couple starting cornerbacks went down yesterday, so we don't want to see that. And, oh, man, inject this straight into my veins.
Right here. Look at this. Aaron Rodgers dropping back to a wide open Garrett Wilson down the sideline.
Wide open. That was right in between the trail corner and the top safety. That's a perfect cover 2 win right there, Tony.
And you already know the bullshit.
Unless it's cover 4 and the corner just got absolutely dusted.
You already know the bullshit that the defensive coordinator is going to say in the room. Hey, that's our quarterback, guys. Like 31 other quarterbacks can't make that throw. That's our quarterback. I love watching this. Instead of ripping his defense and going, what the fuck are you doing? Get to that wide receiver. You got burned. He's going to be like, that's our quarterback. That's a great throw right there.
Was it
Aaron Rodgers haters around the world, instead of seeing this and going, wow, that looks like old Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams up the sideline right there. Look at the zip on that pass. Achilles looks good. Standing in the pocket strong and delivering a dot. No, they go, yeah.
I think Derek Carr and Henry Ruggs do this to the Jets defense one time. You think I'm scared of the Jets defense? They're in practice.
And you like Henry Ruggs? Derek Carr? No.
I was actually a big fan of Henry Ruggs too. I remember going into that season where the tragedy struck. I was talking about how Henry Ruggs was about to be the breakout of the year, and he was on that way, headed on that track. This is good news for Jets and Jets fans just to see this, right? Like for everybody, and really for all NFL fans to get the hype machine going in the right direction. Because Aaron Rodgers shows up in the Egyptian cat t-shirt to troll everybody that was there. And then it's like, it's fun to see this. And this is where you look at it and you're like, Jets are going to the Super Bowl, baby. Like, why not? Come on, man. Like it's fun.
Jets, Joe. Jets. But yeah, so it sounds like half of New York is really happy, Tony. The other half of New York is punching the air right now. Did you guys see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Why does Daniel Jones always go viral for the wrong reasons?
You know what? I was going to ask you guys this question because I don't know if you guys have been watching the HBO special, like with the GM of the Giants and all that stuff.
I have. Yes.
Dude, like Daniel Jones, like they talk shit about him every meeting that they had. Like, oh, and if they weren't talking shit, they were like, what quarterback in the draft should we bring in? Like, this guy's going to get so much shit all year. Like his own GM doesn't believe in him, and even if he does good, he's done in New York.
So and I heard Drew Lock's dropping dimes in camp too.
Well, the one you have on the screen now is Daniel Jones throwing to Malik Neighbors. The pass before that,
they dropped it though.
I'm going to say something. When I was a kid, there was something that used to be said where it was like every person should have to work in food service so that you know how to treat people in food service. I am now in today's day and age, I think every person who has a microphone, who has like a podcast, a Twitter account, you should have to go to one day of camp just to see how hard this shit is so that you can then go on and talk shit. And some people are still going to talk shit, but everybody's acting like this pass by Daniel Jones in practice, the offensive line is just getting destroyed and he just lobs it out there. Like, does it look bad? But this is actually like super difficult. And I just think that like when I go through the comments and people are like, my grandma could have completed this. It's just like, you couldn't 570 comments on this video. You couldn't do better than Daniel Jones. Like yes, it's bad. And it's why we think the Giants won't be very good. But the horrible shit that people say just upsets me because I know that 99% of the people in the comments couldn't do anything close to what's happening and making it look even.
I don't even think the pass looks that bad. I don't even think it looks that bad. It
doesn't. It's just it's a messed up play. Like who's ever like Brian Burns or Kayvon is in the backfield in 1.3 seconds on just a bad walkthrough play. Nobody's wearing pads. The guy gets beat across the face or whatever to the inside. And it's just like, he lobs it out there. We're just in practice. We're just fucking around. And then the comments in the video are just ruthless. And I'm like, you know what? I would love to see every single one of you guys. I think you should, all of us, including me, I'm not exempt from this, be forced out there to all look like idiots, where we all have to put a clip of us trying to do something athletically inclined on a football field, and we all get roasted for it. Mike, do you have one more, or do you need to wrap up the show?
I'd be like Mika Becton or whatever his name is, that offensive tackle.
Mekhi Becton?
Like, they said he threw up 8 times yesterday on the sideline, so that'd be me. It's like, who?
That's not good. He always gets the rap that he's not in shape.
Hey, Keon Coleman, go back real quick, Mike. I saw that one. Keon Coleman, I don't know if you guys seen the clip of him signing his contract. Badass clip. I should have sent it to you. I don't know if I did. But there's a clip of him signing his contract, and he goes, how do I sign this? You guys want my full name? And they're like, just sign it the way he goes. He goes, like, I'm signing an autograph or the full name? And people are giving him a hard time for it. But there's a couple NFL players going, hey, when I signed my contract, I asked the same damn question. Like, I made it the most legitimate, like, that you could read every letter in that name. I wasn't missing out on that check.
So I do the same thing. So like when I sign my name just on something, my name is Anthony Tucker. So my signature is just the @ symbol. So when I sign things, they're like, hey, why'd you put the @ symbol here? And I go, because my initials are AT. And they're like, oh, but when it's for something that is more like when you have to sign something that's like legit signature, I actually spell out my name properly so that it's legible. So I get where he's coming from, because
you're like,
if for some reason people ever wanted my autograph, it's one of two ways. It's basically, it looks like the pi symbol where it's just like a bar, 2 bars down for Tony Tucker, or the @ symbol for Anthony Tucker. Those are the only 2 ways that I've signed my name on anything signature wise since I was like 18 years old. Because I don't give a shit. I'm just like, whatever. But for a multi-million-dollar deal, you're damn right. How do you guys want this so that I make sure all of this shit gets direct deposited into my account? I will do whatever you want.
I'm drafting him too. I talked about Leggett.
Yes.
Coleman's on my list too.
That's what I was going to say, Joe, was you could draft Xavier Leggett. I'm drafting Keon Coleman.
And Tony, here's your guy, Sam Darnold. This is why I sent this one to you, because Sam Darnold's season's starting.
Sammy Dimes. That's what we're changing his name to.
You guys are going to be shocked where I have the Vikings this year.
In first?
We'll get to that. A little tease for where we're going. But
Keeping the rookie train going here.
Drake
One
May.
hanger.
CJ Stroud came out and said Drake May is the most pro-ready quarterback that came out of the draft. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I did not see CJ say that, but good for CJ. I like him having hot takes. CJ Stroud understands how to play this game. And I'm talking about the entertainment game better than any person I've seen come into the NFL in a long time. Like, this guy understands what he's doing.
A couple weeks ago, he dropped the most ridiculous top 5 quarterbacks list I've ever seen. He basically put his best friend right below his second best friend, right below his third best friend.
No, that's
That's
good.
why you do it.
That's why you do it, right? Him and Drake May are homies. They're hanging out on the weekends.
Like,
Look at this. Justin Fields. We got to get this in right before the end.
I want to say real quick, he was throwing that ball to Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor resurgence. It is back. You have, because in that draft, the Eagles passed on Justin Jefferson for Reagor, and now you have on that team Jalen Reagor, wide receiver 3 behind Jordan Addison. Real B squad they're forming there. Yes, go to this. Justin Fields.
You're still talking about.
This is a good clip of Justin Fields because I saw another one where they're like, Justin Fields extended a play and he like spun it. And I was like, no, he would have got sacked in a real game. This is actually a good throw. And it's 7-on-7, but look at that throw. It's like showing off his arm right there. I think that's good. And like I said, Russell Wilson hurt. He got a calf injury, so they're sitting him out.
Good eye discipline too. You see him looking off the defender.
What I would love to
sleeping in his zone. I believe that is that Calvin Austin speedster. No, he's 19, huh?
I forget who's wearing 11, but I will say this:
Wilson?
If I had the ability to edit, I would edit that he's throwing this ball to himself. Like I would edit Justin Fields on the other end, like catching the ball and running. Because you got the 130, like you could edit it out.
Now, this might be the highlight of.
That was Van Jefferson for the Steelers.
Okay.
Highlight of training camp right here. The security teams are getting to work as well with their tackling drills, and even hyping up the crowd afterwards. That's
this is great.
You got to be ready.
I didn't even know that you really practice this kind of stuff, but like
the Browns security team is more prepared than our Secret Service in America. That's crazy.
No, stop, Joe.
This is in classic fashion. Joe just has to just throw huge shade, just derail the show. We got 30 seconds left. I'm just getting to wrap it up, and he's taking shots.
Well, I'm just saying, like that shows that you prepare for everything. Like that's like how many times a guy's gonna run on the field? Probably once every couple of years, but I like that. You're preparing for the worst, and you make sure everybody knows what's ready to go and what's coming in, just in case it does happen. So I like that, and I am gonna take shots. I'm gonna take shots anytime I can. That's what I do. I'm a troll, Tony. I'm a goddamn troll.
I've got one more training camp clip. Just for that whole Daniel Jones rant y'all just went on. While you guys were going on the rant, I was proving that you can make that throw. See? Send me my motherfucking money, New York. $40 million a year. I could do it too.
You ruined you ruined a Justin Herbert poster.
He's fine. He's over in that corner. He's chilling. He's fine. I didn't ruin it. It was crazy. My dog is actually scared of the Herbert poster. I had to get her away from him. She was about to kill him.
There. She's got a defensive mindset. We
I will be sending the invoice to the New York Giants for the $40 million, and then I will be showing up to training camp next week if they need me.
Mike, I don't know if you can pull the one up I just sent you on text, but that would be the one that we need to end the show on.
You made the throw too, Joe?
No.
No, we ain't playing this shit. No. He wants to play some kind of like striptease of Jimmy G. What the fuck?
Jimmy G. Jimmy G.
End the show. We ain't
we
don't do all the effort of getting the Jimmy G striptease.
It's Jimmy G at Rams camp, just showing you what a quarterback looks like.
Why is he dancing? Why is he taking his clothes off?
I don't know.
That's I was just about to make another joke. I'll save that and make the joke as soon as the show goes off the air. We appreciate you. We hope that you are all having a great Friday. Remember to go onto the internet and say something nice in one of these training camp videos, whatever it is. Like, hey, like even on the bad ones, keep your head up, stay in there. It's only day one, whatever, something positive for these guys out there getting ready for a great year of entertainment in the NFL. I'm so excited. The camp is back. We get to overreact to all this stuff. My boy Josh Palmer made a couple of great catches yesterday at Chargers camp, and we're only going to continue to skyrocket the hype on all of our favorite teams. You guys got anything before we get out of here?
Bolt up.
I did see the Josh Palmer stuff, but I didn't want to send it to you. So
Yeah, you know I was going to see it anyways.
Yeah.
Have a great week.